Today on the workbench, I've got something different here. This is an MNP track cleaning car. MNP stands for Many New Products, and this is one of their older DC versions. You can still buy these. They don't use the roundhouse kits anymore. They're using AccuRail kits now. But I found this on eBay, and it's brand new. So let me pull this out here, out of the box. And it's a really good, I think it's a really good concept. Remove the shell of that boxcar there. So basically what this is two motors. They spin in opposite directions, and this version is DC. So you can buy a DC version and a DCC version. And this car is heavy. I think, let's see, well, there's no need for me to guess. I believe it weighs somewhere around 11 ounces. Maybe a little over. Let me see what it does weigh. It's 12.1 ounces. So it's fairly hefty. And the way they work, and of course both motors turn in opposite directions, and it has these pads on the bottom. Now, I know these are dirty. I did try this out with just the DC. But these are spring-loaded pads. So that way they can, let me see if you can see this a little better. They spring in and out. Same way with this one. But what I'm going to do is convert this to DCC. Let me show you what I'm going to use here. And well, I'll show you what I'll use. I've got a this is a Loke Pilot. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold here. So this is a Loke Pilot. It's a 4-function decoder. I'll cut this plug off. Hope you can see that with the glare. But pull it out of this bag. So I've got the decoder. Like I say, I'll cut the 8-pin plug off of it. And there's just the little tag for it. But this is a 54610 Loke Pilot V4.0. So there's no sound. I could put some lights in it if I wanted to. Now the other thing I'm going to use on this are these Ring Engineering power pickup trucks. Because the reason I want to change the trucks out that are on the model, these Ring Engineering trucks pick up on both sides. So I'll have a left and a right, if that makes sense. That way the rear wheels will pick up on both sides of the track, and the front wheels, it will pick up on both sides of the track. Yeah. Okay, so these are a PPT 33T. So we'll be changing a lot of stuff on this thing. Now, the reason I want to do that is this. I was at a club here not too long ago, and a guy had purchased one of these, and we were talking about it, and he really liked it, other than the fact that when he would run over, his was a DCC version, when he would run over a dead area, say a frog that wasn't powered, or just a dirty section of track. The way this is made right now, this set of trucks picks up on one side of the rail, and this set of trucks picks up on the other side of the rail. So he was losing power to his decoder that he had in there. I mean, other than that, the thing ran perfect. So when I found this one, I thought, well, I'm just going to upgrade it. Now, saying that, I don't know how they manufacture the new ones right now. So maybe they have changed that problem. Maybe they didn't. But this is the pickups that they use right now. Slide this over here. And it's just a piece of copper mounted underneath the truck, and it picks up off of the axles. These are metal axles. And on DC, this thing runs, it's smooth, it's quiet, runs really well. But I want to use it on DCC. So I'll pull these trucks off. I'll put on the Ring Engineering trucks, and then we'll mount this decoder and wire it all in, and it should be a fairly simple process. There's plenty of extra wire here included in this. So, and even MNP, if you go to their website, because you can still buy these just DC, they give you a schematic on how to wire a decoder into this model. So, and let me slide that out of the way, and I'll show you that. That's the schematic that I'll be going off of. So you can pause that if you want to see it. But let's see, first things first, we'll have to decide, and that decoder is taped in that plastic. So it's a tiny, tiny decoder. And I've got plenty of room for it. I'll probably just end up mounting it down here onto the floor of the car. But let's see, we've got our black. Here's one track lead. Of course, I'm going to be getting rid of these. Let's open one of these Ring Engineering trucks up, because I really haven't fooled with these since I got them. Well, they've got them packed in here tight, I will say that. So here's our new truck, and these actually have a circuit breaker in them. There's a board in there. So I'll have to, let me get the instructions out, since both wires are black. I have to figure out which side is which. Let's see. I won't have to drill any holes because that's already there. I'll have to, I believe that pops. That should come off of there. Well, I would think it would come off of there. Of course, they're probably really not thinking you're going to use two of these on the same car, so it really wouldn't matter at that point. But of course, it has to come off there so I can put a screw through it. Back to the instruction sheet. Free the circuit board to get access to the truck mounting screw. Use a 1/8 inch flat blade screwdriver and free axle on the opposite side that the wire exits. On the opposite side. So it should be right in here. And they show so what this thing is supposed to do is, I guess, is fold this way. There's one out. And there's the second one out. Okay, so now we can bolt that in. We'll stick our screw through there. I guess I'll just have to do it with a meter when I go to hook it up, just to figure out which wire is what. Because I don't know if they cross in there or anything. But let's go ahead and pull. Get that out of the way. Turn my soldering iron on. Get some of this stuff out of the way. I'll need that. I've got too many projects going at one time here. Let me get a bigger regular screwdriver. So there's that. I can go ahead and clip that, pull my wire up out, pull that wire up out, and my truck just rolled off. Set those out of the way. Fish that through the hole. Now the other thing I'll do to this, I'll put some Kadees on it, and I probably should do that right now while I have that out, because this came with, well, what did I do with it now? This came with the old horn couplers, and I don't want to use those horn couplers, so let me throw that away. It did come with some extra pads. As far as I'm concerned, those horn couplers are a waste. So we'll get this out, fill with our coupler box. And I could probably do this off camera, but I'd rather you see the whole process. Maybe you'll learn something, take away something from it. Put these pads back. A couple old couplers back. Excuse me. So I've got that. Need to dig out some couplers. Wrong box. Okay. So there's one and two. We'll put our spring in. Put our spring in. I don't need that box anymore. And these are, let's see, Kadee number 5s. Yeah, Kadee number 5s. I use them in most, actually I use them in everything. So, I've had really good luck with them. So I see no reason not to use them on this. Now hopefully, I don't think, well, it's kind of magnetized. Yeah. Okay. Let me magnetize my screwdriver. We'll get that in there. And I just saw that pop off. We'll put that back. Sometimes there's that side. this end. Okay, there's our couplers in place. Now I can get back to threading. This wire. Through the hole. And that will sit just like that. Just like that. And I can reuse my screw that was there if I can get it started. I can't tighten it too tight at all. So there's one side. Now let me open this one. Get everything out of it. Have a little better luck opening this one up. Try and work smarter this time. Get that on there. Tip that over. That will go in there like this, and I'll thread that down through the hole in a second. That way I won't have to be holding everything. There's that. Flip that back up. Not a very stable thing. Not while it's sitting on its back. Okay, So there we've got our trucks changed out. I probably should pull that back out. Well, no, there's not enough room there, I don't think. What I'm looking at is I've got these wires running over top of the axle right there. I think maybe I'll leave it that way. So let me put this truck back together. One side. There's the other side. Yeah. The other side went on fine. Well, there's always got to be one. For some reason, I found it. There. So, immediately, there's already a difference. It's a difference in the way it rolls. I think it rolls a little freer now. And we are going to have better pickup now. Not real keen on this. That's probably a 32 gauge wire, maybe a 36. But it will still work. And let's see what I'll end up doing here. Let's see, get this out, get the decoder out here. I'm going to mount this decoder here on the floor, so that'll just be a piece of double-sided tape. I'll cut my plug off, and I can eliminate. Well, no, I really don't want to eliminate. Well, I will. Just because it'll look neater when I finish it. So, yeah, that's a big rat's nest of stuff that does not need to be. So we'll go through, we'll do one side at a time here. Can eliminate most of this wire. So I'm going to go through and cut that. That's no longer needed. wire strippers. Do a little bit of secure those together. A little bit of flux. Break out the solder. Tip cleaner. Okay, time to start tinning up some wire here. So there's that one. Cut that off a little bit. And I can do the same to the other side. Strip those off. Then we'll put those together. Couple of twists. Some flux. Okay, that's together. Trim that. So now what I need to do is determine which wire is what. And to do that, let me break out my meter. Which meter do I want? Get my little one. I carry things to the club to work with. I have things here at the house to work with. So I kind of sometimes have stuff scattered between toolboxes and God knows what. Okay. We're going to check for resistance. with our ohm meter. Okay, let me pull those off. Give me a little bigger contact area. Okay, now I'll get this up here. Really, I'm not looking for any numbers or anything. I'm just waiting to hear that beep. That is all that I am doing. You can see it says out of limit. But all we're trying to do, this just tells me that when I touch, I'm going to touch this side and I'll determine which wire is feeding this side. Hopefully. Of course, it's running through a board here. Need a better way to hold my wire. Well, why doesn't that do what I want it to do? Yeah, let's see. Do 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 do. Let's try the other side. So I know this wire. How can I mark it now? This wire is fed from this side of these trucks. Oh, here, let me do this. I will get out this will solve my problem. Get out some heat shrink tubing. Okay, I got out 3 pieces just in case one doesn't fit. So this one, we're going to say that it's red. So I need to find which is this side over here. Okay. So this wire that I have in my hand is the same side. What I should have done was well, I really don't need to do anything. As long as I keep them straight there. Get that back out. Get this out of my way. Okay. Now, I'll go ahead and so there I will keep them straight that way. Now I want to go ahead and strip off a little more wire. I thought I could do that with my fingers. Well, I'm going to cut it. The wire is so fine. Get that together like that. Some flux on it. Get that soldered together. Then we can cut our excess. So that's my track pickup for one side. That'll go to one side of the decoder. And then we'll have this side. Let me strip that off some. There's that one. And then we have this one. There's that. Get that flux on there. Get that trimmed off. Put some heat shrink on it. Okay, so we've got our two sides for our track pickup. We've got our motor leads. Now, the only thing we have to do is go through our decoder, and I am going to cut off the plug because I do not need the plug, and I'll leave that a little long there, just so I can reuse that plug if I ever need to. But now the only ones that I'll have to use are the gray, the orange. So the gray is the negative side of the motor. The orange is the positive side of the motor. And then my black is one rail pickup, and the red is the other rail pickup. Now these other ones, they could be lighting functions if we wanted them to be, or whatever. But I won't be using those. So what we'll end up doing now is, I believe I'll trim these 4 or 5 back down to there. Oh. Go through, and we'll start stripping some wire here. Orange, red, gray, and black. And I'm just purposely cutting these long. So now, clean the tip of my soldering iron. Excuse me there. Dig out my handy dandy wiring diagram again, just to make sure. So, okay. Yeah, there's not much to it. I'll tape this down in a second. Let's go ahead. Flux some of this stuff up. Get it all off the little puddles I've dropped on the work mat. So I can put that away. There's one. Two. Three. And four. So now all we have to do is our track pickup, which I said was black and red. Black and red. So dig this out over here. Get it underneath. Do, 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 do. Let me do this. Get my helping hand back out here. Actually, I want to trim that off just a little bit. I've got my piece of heat shrink on there. So there's that one. Now we'll get the other side, which is the red. Trim that one off a little bit. Solder there. That in a steadier hand. So there's that. Now I'm going to need another piece of heat shrink. I keep these cut up already, just so I'll have them. That one may be a little long, but I can trim that off. So we'll get that. Put that on there. There's that one. And now we'll be able to do this last one. This is going to look like a rat's nest. Kinda. Trim that off just a little. A little more solder. There's that one. Slide our heat shrink up there. Okay, so all of our connections are made. Now, like everything else, I can put it on the test track, get my soldering iron out of the way. So, let me move some of that. Get rid of these. I know you all have seen this before. A little test track here. It runs really smooth. Now let me put these old pads back on here. Like I say, that will sit in there. Now the test. Get our DCC turned on. I've got a steam locomotive sitting on the track above. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mute it. Actually, I'm going to take it off the track. Well, I don't need to. Well, it's plugged in. I never shorted anything out. So far so good. Can you see that moving on camera there? Let me hold it. I am controlling that with my DCC. And it is moving on its own because it drags the rails there. So there's speed step 28. It's got some momentum to it. So this has been one of these little quick, easy projects. You know, I could put a strobe on it if I wanted to, just to indicate that it was running. But I really don't want it to stand out. Now I know it's going to stand out because it is a yellow boxcar, but saying that, I do have a couple of boxcar trains. One of them is all rail box, so there I put some double-sided tape on that. What was I? Oh, I don't really want it to stick out, so it won't be too bad in my rail box train, even though this is a Delaware and Hudson. Let's see. I could leave those loose if I wanted, because I've got plenty of room. I could put a sound. I've got a Tsunami sound card. Excuse me. That I could put in there, but I really don't want to do that. As long as I keep those away from that gear, I will be doing all right. So I think we'll be in good shape. Let me just throw the body on this just to show you what kind of looks like. So this is basically the finished product. Weather that up a little bit maybe. I do have a brake wheel here I can put on. We'll get that on there at some point. But I think for right now, we can consider this this project complete. Now with the body on it, I can hear it with the body on it. So I probably should oil this. I don't know how long this thing has sat on a shelf. But other than that, that is a completed decoder install on a MNP cleaning car. I really like that. So, all right. Thanks for watching.